Minutes ago, the House just voted on a motion put forward by the Conservative Party of Canada, essentially to put Tory Stafford's killer back behind bars. You've been following this issue. This woman is now in a facility that doesn't have bars, has children there, and frankly, I can't believe that we had to take it to a vote, but nonetheless, we forced this vote in the House of Commons. And this just happened. Now, two things. Every single Liberal voted against this motion. But something I didn't expect to happen did happen. And you need to know about this. You need to share this video. You need to tell everybody you know what just happened. So there was two votes. There was one on a Liberal motion. This was right after question period. And then there was the Tory Stafford motion. So Trudeau was in the House for question period. He then voted on the Liberal motion. And during question period, he called one of my colleagues an ambulance chaser. My colleague Candice Bergen stood up after the first vote, raised a point of order because Lisa had asked him to, Lisa Wright, who he called this term, had asked him to apologize. He didn't apologize, but then this is the thing that he did. While Candice was raising this point of order, right before the vote started, the vote to put Tory Stafford's killer behind bars, Justin Trudeau ran out of the House of Commons. All of his Liberal colleagues, his caucus that he whipped to vote against this motion, sat in the House of Commons while this guy stood up, turned tail, and ran and didn't even have the courage to vote on this motion. But you know what he did? He ran out of the House of Commons into the foyer where all the media and reporters wait after question period. And he scrummed. And his scrum wasn't about his position on how to vote or anything material about that. It was to talk about this ambulance chaser comment. So can you imagine that? Instead of voting on a motion that most Canadians are watching for a position from this Prime Minister from, he turned tail and ran, didn't have the courage to even vote, and then went and did a scrum to double down on comments that he made, negative comments that he made about one of my colleagues. After last night giving this big interview, effusive interview about how the election was going to be nasty and decorum in the House of Commons. And you know what his comment was on this when asked about why he said this? He goes, well, the Conservatives are angry because maybe it stings. And he said this while the vote on the Tory Stafford motion was happening in the House of Commons. You know, I've had a few people recently, they reach out and they're like, oh, Michelle, you know, you get so angry with your your colleagues on Twitter. And because I called Seamus O'Regan a disgusting coward for what he was doing with the Christopher Garnier case, because he wouldn't change that basic decision. And today I called Justin Trudeau the same thing. But you know what? There's some things that are worth getting angry about. And what I find this Liberal government does is that they peddle this false sanctimony and this false set of standards instead of just doing the right thing. And you know what? This is worth getting angry about, and I will not apologize for being angry on the part of every single constituent that I represent for what happened in the House of Commons today in terms of the Prime Minister's actions. You know, I don't care how you vote. If, you know, you might not like me, you might not like the Conservative Party of Canada or whatever, but what this Prime Minister is doing to this country right now is something that's worth getting angry about, and you should be asking for him to do better. I cannot believe that man did not have the fiber or fortitude to stand up in the House of Commons and carry. He left his members of Parliament and his caucus, like they were all looking at him like, where are you going? Can you believe that? And then they all just stood up and voted anyways against this motion. You know, share this video. If you have a chance today, tell somebody who voted Liberal what happened in the House of Commons. Make them watch this. Make them watch what he did in the House of Commons today. Because I don't think anyone who voted for Justin Trudeau voted for this. And it's not just this. You know it's not just this. It's concessions on NAFTA. It's failure to build Trans Mountain Pipeline. It's, issue after issue after issue where all he does is preen. He sits there and preen. And you know what? I have to sit here when my constituents, many of you who are watching right now, you phone me and you're like, I can't find work. I've been out of work for a very long period of time because of the uncertainty in Canada's energy sector, right? Like, it's just, it is worth getting angry over. And today, what he did in the House, the fact that he turned tail and ran, he was in the House of Commons and he turned tail and ran and didn't even have the courage to vote on this. Gross. I'm going to continue to work hard for you. We've got some votes left in the House. I'm just going to head back across the street here and get back into the House. But the reality is that it is the Prime Minister's job to correct wrongs when they happen. And if there needs to be changes to Canada's correctional policies or whatever that's allowing people who have committed the types of heinous crimes that Terry Lynn McClintic did to stay in a low security facility like this, or whatever the designation is, there's no fence, there's children around, there's been management issues. He needs to fix that. And the motion today that we put forward was pretty basic. Working hard for you in Ottawa. Have a great day.